right, hello you lovelies and welcome to the hot and hotline heavy week of Koicast. I am your host Coy Jandro. I'm a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people, and I am joined, as ever, by the great New Yorkian, cynical, Zack Snyder-loving Jake Lloyd Baker.
Wait, that was very confusing
because it was both things. It was true
because I am
untrue.
a New Yorker.
You are a New Yorker.
I'm not always cynical.
Yeah, I was trying to go like more lying.
Oh, okay.
So I was like descending into lies. Like started true,
right.
and I got because you're
You
like
snowballed.
Yeah, because you're like you can be
hand.
cynical, but you don't.
I think I like to consider myself incredibly objective.
Which is someone who sometimes cynical would say. I'd say that I nailed that pretty the point there. And then the man's not as much of a Snyder fan as others might be,
Listen,
big Watchmen fan.
300 and Watchmen are still very, very enjoyable movies.
It's just I love that the audience has turned on you to such a
level. No, they really.
It's more about. Yeah. It's not even about like Jake doesn't dislike Zack Snyder as much as the audience dislikes Jake not loving Zack Snyder. That's what it's about.
We have fun.
We have fun. This is a hot and hotline heavy week, but before we get to you guys co-hosting the show, we got some good calls this week. We got a bunch of calls this week.
Yeah, we have we're really putting the name of this series to the test as far as hotline heavy. I'm not exaggerating. I don't know that we're going to be able to get to them all.
Which is impressive.
We currently have 11 calls in the docket.
I love that you guys have really like turned this into a thing. Like it sometimes we had like 3 calls and now it's like we got to make sure we get everyone in there. That makes me so happy. But how you been this week, man?
Been doing all right. We are in the midst of a move here at the Dragon's Den, and we'll just put this up front once again. We should be squared with not missing episodes. We should have an episode next week. We're supposed to be recording this upcoming Monday, the 30th, our next batch of episodes, but that's also the end of the month, and I'm in the thick of it right now.
Also, your boy ended up in the hospital last week, as well as with a debilitating kidney infection. Separate events. So as far as putting my body through stress, if Jake's like, "Yeah, what about not this week?" I'll be like, "Bro, I'll sleep." So like where I'm coming from, I'll be here obviously if it works, but we wanted to let you guys know we never miss weeks. If it happens, it is peak extenuating circumstances.
Regardless if we're here next week or not, whatever the next episode is, will be the first episode of the month in which we will pick our June official unpunchable gift horse of the month. And if you would like to be in that running to become the unpunchable gift horse of June, then you got to head over to koicast.com, click the Patreon link, and become a gift horse patron. You get entered into that contest, and you win some merch when you become the unpunchable gift horse. You get to pick something for us to watch, to review on the POP, and you get your name and lights on the Discord. Of course, the current unpunchable gift horse of the month, Gilbert Short. So congrats on being the inaugural unpunchable gift horse. Maybe he goes 2 for 2. Maybe he
stays unpunchable.
Because by the way, as long as you're in that tier, you're eligible every single month
in that list. Now that also being said, when you are of that tier, you also have access to over 100 episodes of the POP. So you get all sorts of stuff. So check out the Patreon because it's not just about merch, not just about being unpunchable. There's also lots and lots of conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff there and super meticulously organized. Quick shout out to a friend of the show, Robin West Parker, who's helping me fill in some of the holes of the tags that I left when I went back through the catalog.
That.
Yeah. Because Robin said that they were re-listening to stuff. And I was like, good, while you're doing that, if you notice we chatted about something that's not in the listing or not tagged, let me know. And so thanks for helping me out with that. Pretty soon it'll be a complete 100 perfectly perfect thing. It's close. Really good.
It's also incredible.
We're still in the 90. We're still in 90% as far as you being able to just be like, hey, have they ever talked about Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants?
Let me go ahead and type that in.
Well, good. They have, and I can type it in and find out exactly when they did it.
And then we pitched the whole sequel.
I don't think no, that was Yaya Sisterhood.
Oh,
see,
have we not watched this?
Threw you for a loop. I don't think we've done Traveling Pants.
I've never seen it.
Well,
I thought you might have.
Maybe that's going to be the unpunchable gift horse's
someone wants
next
to pick
movie.
some traveling pants. I'm a big Blake Lively fan. I will watch the hell out of some pants that travel. I think she's in that.
That's news to me. To be honest with you.
We wouldn't know because we haven't seen it.
Can I say have seen it? I know I saw it a long time ago when it came out.
You don't remember if it was Blake Lively because why would you mark that?
I don't remember
mentally.
Yeah.
Also, Jake and I sometimes share pants like the sisterhood do. That's not true, but we could.
We are the brotherhood of the stay-at-home pants.
Yes, the brotherhood of a lot of elastic, a lot of comfort, in stay-at-home pants. All right, let's get to the hotline calls before we derail any further.
Hey, Coy. Hey, Jake. This is Ben from Altadena, and I was looking ahead at the Phase 4 Disney Plus schedule and how we've got coming up, starting to have some holiday specials like the much discussed Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special and the less discussed Werewolf by Night Halloween special. I'm very interested to see what that is. But I was thinking, like, if you were pitching ideas for MCU Disney Plus holiday specials, what sort of things would you come up with? Like, I think it would be fun just to have more things where it's just people hanging out, which I assume the Guardians of the Galaxy one will probably have that feel, but it would be cool if you could have more things like the, like the rooftop party and that Spider-Woman run that Coy enjoyed so much, so you could have like various MCU couples hosting holiday parties and crazy things happening, like, Ant and the Wasp, or Reed and Sue once the Fantastic Four come in, or Valkyrie and her queen in New Asgard. That could be pretty fun. Just seeing people pop in and out and seeing characters have little fun sitcom-esque conflicts happen. So if you were pitching MCU Disney Plus holiday specials, what ideas would you have? Thanks, guys, and have a great week.
Love this question, because you not only reference some of my favorite Spider-Woman issues, but also this opens up so many possibilities. And like you said, they're not really talking about the werewolf one for Halloween. There are infinite holidays, infinite characters. They could do like 2 or 3 of these years, and it's a great way to have fun on Disney Plus.
Right. The first one that comes to mind is maybe a little obvious.
What do you got?
Although the way it's been presented on screen is more comical for the most part, but we've got Hulk, and we've got this beautiful book, Immortal Hulk, just sitting there, just waiting to be mined, and doing like an Immortal Hulk Halloween special,
real spooky.
Do you know what I mean? Like where we lean into, unlike the comedy horror that we got out of Sam Raimi's Multiverse of Madness.
Some body horror.
Like some
Cronenberg. Cronenberg.
There's a
right?
little bit.
There's some Cronenberg in that book.
There's some crazy shit in that book.
But I love that.
Like leaning into like, and maybe, I don't know, like because it's, the way I see specials is they're like Elseworlds.
Right.
They are like, yeah, you can take or leave this.
And you can have that parental password on that.
Sure, yeah.
Like, you can really, because, if Daredevil has it.
I almost wouldn't mind, and people will be like, Jake, this is so stupid. I almost wouldn't mind if it was like a dream that he had. As we know, dreams are just glimpses into the multiverse.
So, hey, the Immortal Hulk exists in some
like, literally, like, we see the Immortal Hulk scenario, and we see, our Bruce Banner, and we see all of that, but it's very unfamiliar to us because it's not our guy. It's maybe it is just a multiverse thing, and we're just seeing, like, what happens in a different universe where, like, he controls the night, where it's, instead of it being anger, it's like he's a werewolf. It's literally like, the werewolf story of Bruce Banner.
I've got a bunch immediately.
Yeah, I mean, there's
so many, but I'm gonna try to speed round through a couple cool ideas. I think.
All right.
I want a Spider-Woman Mother's Day special. I want Spider-Woman going on an adventure and dealing with being a single mom. My mom. We
don't even have MCU Spider-Woman in the MCU yet.
She's coming in. I'm making it happen. Maybe this is how we introduce her. I don't even care. She's coming in. Jessica Drew as a single mom means a lot to me. My mom had me at 16, and I really love that they had that storyline. I really love how empowering it was, and they didn't like play with it as a negative. They really made it important. And I feel like the more and more we have, you know what, we talk about head in the sand, but I'm going to say it out loud. With the more and more we have this Roe versus Wade stuff, I think it's really important to have conversations about the importance of choosing to be a mom, and the importance of choice, and the importance of women's bodies, and the importance of all of that. And through superhero culture, you can tell really, really important stories, but make it a shiny object that people were less likely to rebel against. Right. And I really think that, Jessica Drew choosing to have her child and having the option not to if she chose is a very important story to tell on Disney, especially with them finding their voice as a company. That being also said, I'm going to go way darker, and I want a Peter Parker Spider-Man Father's Day special without a dad. I was actually Uncle Ben special.
I was just saying literally a Father's Day special where all of the, because it's like
superheroes,
because there's so many of them. Yeah. There's so many, and you could, but it doesn't even necessarily have to be like, it's just like people who've lost their dads, which is tons. Like you could have Thor and Loki. You could have Star-Lord, who literally had to fight and kill his own father. Like there's so many.
I was thinking like Uncle Ben is like an adopted dad special, but you just went way darker. I was gonna be like him and Peter at like a Mets game and the importance of dads. Okay. But then also you could have like the parody of like all these dads.
Only if we have Wanda and Mother's Day as well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's the ultimate mom.
I think it would be. Like, I'm trying to think of something that is indeed a little poignant. It's because of how horrible the MC. I mean, and I know that a lot of people, like, we give them credit for, like, stuff like Black Panther and, like, where things are going.
Yeah.
But it's undeniable that for a long time, Marvel was like, hey, white superhero with a person of color sidekick. And, like, yeah, you got, look, this is a diverse cast of, it's like, yeah, but it's really about this one thing.
Those 5 Avengers.
Right.
Or 6, sorry.
I mean, the amount of like people of color sidekicks in the Marvel universe.
And like you said, they are getting better, but like they'd be a good way to illustrate it is to have like,
I'm trying to find somebody for like Indigenous Peoples Day or something that's like that we can
those
actually
holidays.
Yeah. This sort of holidays.
Or even like Moon Knight for Hanukkah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even like, things that are because
wait a minute, is he the only
Jewish superhero?
Is he the only Jewish
so far
Marvel character so far?
Because Peter Parker is Jewish, but they haven't really
addressed it.
But I think it'd be really because I didn't know a lot, I didn't have a lot of Jewish friends growing up to the point where I thought that like Hanukkah was a holiday that was like less celebrated.
I didn't realize how big it was. We couldn't have had different childhoods.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I grew up in the midst of Jewish Long Island. I thought I was Jewish. For a long time.
So I literally
just
didn't
because
know,
I was like, well, all my friends are Jewish. I must also be Jewish.
I didn't know what a menorah was until I moved to LA. Like I did not know the culture, and therefore I think it'd be really cool to have a holiday special that wasn't just Christmas and like show the culture that I don't know, so I can learn some shit.
Right.
Also, like Miss Marvel, like I don't know any Muslim holidays. Like I'm sure there are a ton of them. It'd be cool to see like Muslim holidays of Miss Marvel because she's such a family oriented character. So you could have like the Khan family at home and like have that whole dynamic and like see the customs and stuff. I'd love that.
Yeah, and then I think another one that's really obvious.
Arbor Day.
No.
With Groot.
I see what you're doing there. I would have went Earth Day personally.
Nice.
But
he's literally a tree.
He's literally a tree.
Arbor Day.
And he's not from Earth.
Oh shit. Yeah. So Earth Day doesn't work at all.
But like, 4th of July, Sam Wilson Cap special.
Yes.
Where it's like, we can address a little bit of our independence.
Can we also have Sam Rockwell in that?
But there should also be a little bit of like I want Captain Carter.
Yes.
Well, it's like literally the Brit. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We literally have like a weird argument between the two of them about like into that. I like it.
I mean, there's so many characters in the MCU,
and
there are
holidays
so many holidays.
Celebrate.
We can get to the minutia of like International frickin' Pets Day.
Yep.
And it's all about
the Pet Avengers that have been set up.
Right.
We've got like 3 or 6 of them already moving.
By the way, saw the trailer. Sidebar. We answered this question.
Yes, I think we've done this.
You nailed it. Thanks for that.
Great question.
Saw the trailer for the DC Super Pets.
Funny as fuck.
Looks like it's the best thing DC is gonna make since Shazam.
Since Harley Quinn, Shazam, they're crushing it.
So perfectly stupid and silly.
Yep, and fun.
Yeah, it looks really, really.
I think
ridiculous.
DC is so good when they let themselves be fun.
I will say and I got nothing against him. I like him a lot, but I think hearing Kevin Hart in that role made me go like, wait, wasn't he in Pets as well? Like, feels like
loves pets.
It feels like this is the same kind of character.
He's typecast as dogs.
Right. Oh, wasn't he a bunny in that? I didn't see it.
That's true, but still, animals. Kevin Hart. He's small.
Before we jump into the next hotline call, because we did pre-screen it, just a heads up. Spoiler for Multiverse of Madness if you haven't seen it and you're not on Twitter and it hasn't been ruined for you. So yeah, I don't know. Jump ahead 10 minutes. I don't know how long we're going to talk about this, but just a spoiler warning.
What's up, guys? Jacob here from Mississippi. Just sitting here listening to the new podcast, and oh my gosh, I can identify with Jake so hard about people talking in the movie theater. When we went to see Doctor Strange, me and my girlfriend, the whole time, we're middle row, and there's this baby in the back. Not too bad until the very end, then it started crying. But it's just ridiculous. At a certain age, you would think, maybe don't take your kids to the theaters until a certain age. I don't know. But just saying that me and my girlfriend, she's a very big Office fan. So we've been on the bandwagon for John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic for the longest time. And this movie did give us one good thing, and that was it. For at least our excitement. I don't know how you guys feel, but I loved it. She loved it. And I hope you guys are doing great. Keep up the good work.
Jacob, yes, commiserating about the misery that is people in the movie theater in 2022. There was a baby in our theater when we went to see Endgame at like 2 a.m.
Jesus.
Or it might have been the first one. It might have been Infinity War. I don't remember.
Either way, so the problem was
Alexandra's around the corner right now. Maybe she can remember better than I did. Right. So of Endgame? Yeah. So yeah, in Endgame, we left our first theater because of the people who were next to us, who were literally, we asked to be quiet, said, it's just a fucking movie. And then every time we would laugh, would angrily shush us.
Oh.
So it made it so uncomfortable. So we left within 10 minutes of Endgame, the first screening. We went out. We were like, hey, what's the next one? The next one wasn't until like 1 a.m. because we went to a midnight show.
Yeah, of course.
The first one. And in the second one, there was a baby.
Oh.
So here's the thing. I don't have kids, and I don't think that we should necessarily speak to being like, don't bring your kids to the movie theater because, you know, it's not our right to say that. But also, like, maybe just know your situation and understand it, and like there are screenings for kids.
I don't have kids, but I can say that 400 other people might outweigh my one selfish choice.
And I
at the end of the day, you have to be aware of 400 others.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just not going to say it.
I said it. I said the quiet part out loud. If like you chose to have a kid and you chose to not necessarily have the same fun as people that didn't have a kid.
Also, they have screenings that are kid friendly, that are baby friendly.
Yeah,
too.
and like a daytime screening is a very different thing than a nighttime screening.
Which, by the way, have they they used to be called Mommy and Me screenings? Can we be more fucking sexist? Has that changed?
Oh, wow.
They literally were called Mommy and Me screenings.
When I worked at Showcase Cinemas, they were Mommy and Me screenings.
I hope that they've changed that.
Because single dads and dads in general.
Anyways,
we're
awful.
with you. Co-sign.
Talking about did not like him. Didn't think he was going to be a good read, and he wasn't, and I was right. He's too cool.
Yeah, which is funny because he's not. Jim Halpert's not cool, but John Krasinski's
cool.
he
is though. He is. He may not be cool in the world, but he's definitely cool in the office, and he's definitely presented as the cool guy, the one who's sort of witty, but he's also presented as like not the intellectual type.
Right.
He's presented as like the guy who like pranks and the guy.
You know what? Neither is Daniel Craig. I thought it was so weird when they said Daniel Craig was the other choice for Reed, because that guy is not.
No,
like I like him, but he's not like a highbrow intellectual type.
I know that.
What about like a Martin Sheen?
Yeah, you know what? I know that we already got him, obviously in Eternals, but like Kumail Nanjiani would have been a great. Like that's where I'm going.
Dev Patel.
Dev Patel. Also, I mentioned on this podcast many times before. I think that if he could buff up, not that I don't think he's scrawny, especially after Barry, but
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader would have been exceptional. Yeah. I think guy with 3 names from Third Rock from the Sun, who I'm
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Thank you, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
He
would have been
reads
great.
As an intellectual, a little snobby, but
like likable. But the snobby that's part of it.
Works. It's part of the character.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad that a lot of people dug it, and I'm glad that they were like, "Hey, here's a little thing for you guys who've talked about this."
Right.
And the moment I went, "Oh, that's cool." Oh, he's not really good at this. He doesn't sound good saying these words. He doesn't sound bookish.
And you need to be bookish to be Reed, because that's part of why his arrogance turns into the Council of Reeds and everything else.
Yep. But theaters suck, and I'm sorry about that experience.
All I'm saying is have a kid or not, don't be selfish. Whatever your thing is.
Also, there were people talking, so it wasn't just that.
Yeah, but I'm saying like whatever your choice is, don't be selfish. I don't care if it's kid-based or not. Just be good people.
Hey, this is Jason from Baltimore. I just listened to your guys' review of Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, and interestingly enough, I agreed with all of your complaints about the movie, but they just didn't detract from my experience the same way that they seem to for you guys. So my question is, between the two of you, is there a complaint that the other host has that you agree with that is a complaint of a movie or TV show, but just didn't detract from your experience as much as it did for the other? Love listening. Thanks.
I mean, most movies, I think.
I think that it's this is a big part of what the patron only pod is. I think the ones that come to mind immediately are
No Way Home.
They're mostly Superman movies. Yeah, or I'm sorry, superhero movies rather.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are the one where you go like, yeah, I get it, but I don't care.
Yeah, like I'm fine with that, whatever flaw you saw.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the really big ones. I feel like Man of Steel is probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
Because you were like, yeah, that was really good, but also I like that movie.
Yeah, like, and we did a whole thing about it with like beat by beat, and I was like, those things don't bother me enough for it to not, like, I still like Man of Steel.
And I think it's, for me, it's mostly
the
like,
Batman was a big one too. Like the Batman, the newest.
Yeah, and again, but in that one I didn't dislike it though.
But you had things that I was like, I can acknowledge those beats and
I was
not have a problem with
Yeah,
them.
I was like, this and this and this and this are sort of like, and with the Batman, it was not about what they did; it was more about what they didn't do.
Right.
That I'm like, yeah. I think in the other direction, it's mostly comedies. It's mostly where I go like, yeah, there's a low stakes involved in certain types and styles of comedy movies where I feel like you were like, you're like a laughs per minute kid where you're just like, we're just like
volume, son.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, no, like if the story is cohesive enough and it has jokes that make me laugh and it looks like they're having a good time, I'm like 3-star at minimum.
And where I am is with superhero movies, if it's cohesive enough, if it's got comic book stuff,
well, mostly
I like,
they're not cohesive. That's the thing.
But that's, so I think your comedy is my comic.
Right.
Like I think
that's
they're, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like I don't rewatch a lot of comedies. I've noticed that like comedy is probably my least owned Blu-ray, and it's my least rewatched genre.
Well, it's probably my least owned Blu-ray too, just because it doesn't matter that they look nice, and I buy Blu-rays because they're spectacles.
Yeah, you want to own
like,
it, and
like I don't need, like
why isn't it knocked up in 4K?
Yeah, exactly.
I want my Seth Rogen beard hairs to be clear.
It's not gonna change the game.
Yeah, but I overall like I find because I rewatched again because I'm showing everyone and their mother Paddington. Watched Paddington last night, and like that's such a specific kind of comedy that I can always rewatch.
Right.
But that is so rare for comedy for me.
Right.
Like Shane Black and Paddington are probably the only comedies I can rewatch often.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other really specific ones.
Batman's and No Way Home
honestly
jump out.
Yeah, because they're the recent. Well, the Donnie Darko one, I after our episode where we did this, we went back and forth with stuff that we think that the person got wrong. It's been on my rewatch list. I don't even want to talk about it until I rewatch it.
That's fair.
All I remember about it was like illogical and pretentious, and thought it was something it wasn't.
Is Alexander on my side or yours?
Mine.
Okay.
From what I remember.
I was gonna have her defend me, but it's not.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
All right. Those jump out.
Yeah. I know. I mean, Venom.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Whereas I like fun in movies, like sometimes, like just stupid. Like I like
and
90s comic book movies, and that's what I like.
But we can get that. Heck, I defend Fantastic Four for Christ's sakes. Like me too sometimes.
Yeah.
But it also has to be uninsulting.
See, I think that's insulted. I was so happy.
Yeah, because I think it's because you're not that bright.
I mean, that's fair. What are some others? Free Guy, I think, was one.
Oh, Free Guy. Yeah, you agreed with me and you went, yeah, but I still liked it.
Exactly.
Yo, Free Guy's probably the
that's
most
the best
recent
example.
biggest. I think Free Guy entirely undermines its entire message by doing the zany, stupid IP shit that they claim is the villain of the movie.
And then I went, yeah, I know why they added that to make it a bigger release. I don't mind because it's still, because to me, you take away those little beats and the moral of the movie still comes across to me.
But that's one of those movies where when that happened,
it undermined.
The entire movie just shifted in such a negative way for me that was so hard for me to move on from it.
And then I went, I wish they didn't have to have done that, but I understand I understand the business of show business, and it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
So that's a good one to land on. Yeah, Free Guy and comic book movies and comedies.
Hi, Coy. This is Masked Llama of the Legendary Fighting Federation, and I was just calling because you've talked a little bit about being part of or going to Burning Man, and I know this is a pop culture podcast, and things like Burning Man and burning events are more of counterculture, maybe. I think there's a lot of cultures out there. But in any case, I was curious. You kind of hinted about it, but you've never actually talked in great detail about it, and it's probably something that a lot of your listeners don't know that much about. So I was curious if you had any good burner stories or burning experiences, just like a brief overview of the culture, what it entails. I don't know. Thought it would be neat. I could learn a lot more, and others probably could learn more too. I'm very tired. So this call's a little wonky, and I thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.
I love this question.
All right, first off, I want to say, Masked Llama, this doesn't sound like you.
Is it an impersonator? Is it Masked Llama's alter ego?
Is this somebody trying to steal the identity of Masked Llama?
Is this the llama?
A la Sin Cara, which is a reference that wrestling fans will get. It's your voice seems to be like an octave deeper in this call than usual.
Maybe he's got a cold.
Maybe he's just tired.
Could be tired.
I legit started this and thought that it was somebody that just
impersonating.
That was just like, oh, somebody always calls and says Masked Llama.
Well,
I'll just say that.
Masked Llama is a masked identity, so it could be any other llama.
That's true.
Maybe
he said this is a masked llama.
Yes, that's the twist. Love this question because I do. Burning Man is a very big part of my life that I don't get to talk about much because it is not in the pop culture space. It is inherently counterculture, even with 70,000 people attending. It is a escape from culture. One of my favorite things about it is I consider it the reset button of my life, and I need it more and more post-pandemic. And I don't think I'm attending this year because I don't necessarily feel safe yet. I know that crowd is very polarizing. There's a lot of very science-based people, and there's a lot of not science-based people, and I just don't want to mix 70,000.
A lot of people are like, I'm not going to get COVID because I ate aloe vera.
There's a lot of people huffing essential oils to cure COVID, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need that. So my issue is like with that many people in close quarters, I don't want to add that variable.
I can tell you're okay because your essence is ombre.
Your chakra are aligned enough that you are warding off the COVID-19, and your aura really resonates with an antiviral. So yeah, I'm not going this year personally because I need to feel safe there, and that's the point. But what I love about it is I've always described it as it's kind of like taking sunglasses. Okay, in the same way that mushrooms and acid are kind of like taking sunglasses off and seeing the world in a new way that is still normalized and human. Like it's not an alien planet, but it's so different from your day-to-day life that the first time you see a billboard, the first time you see money exchange, the first time you see anything coming out of Burning Man, it stops you in your tracks. And I think that's really healthy. I think every year or every few years, going to a place that makes you realize how alien these phones should feel, that makes you realize how alien how we treat each other is, the way it makes you realize like malls aren't normal. I think that's a really good reset button. So I go as a way to remind myself, especially because I'm literally a living, breathing pop culture machine, that I'm a person too. So I go in order to reconnect with the part of Coy that isn't at Coy Jandro, and I lose him more and more every year. And more I forget who I am not talking, and more I forget who I am when I'm not commentating. And I'm a person that needs to be reminded that humanity has a lot going for it. And when I go to Burning Man, I see some of the most kind, beautiful exchanges. I see art that will never exist again. I see people toiling hundreds of thousands of hours for something that will only exist once. And I see most of all people sharing in a communal experience that is as close to religion as I've ever understood, that will never and can never exist again. And it reminds me why I keep pushing for people to be good.
There is some similarities into what you're discussing to even just con life.
Yeah.
Because like
100%.
literally, like there's a lot of crossover to what how the people feel about the thing that they are, whether it's the pop culture. But I feel like because of your job, the con life can't be your reset.
It can't be my escape
because it's literally.
But for many
work.
It is. But yeah,
exactly,
it's me plugging in more.
Yeah, and I like what you're describing when you say that. I go, oh yeah, I do that same too. But for me, it's and it shows the different types of people because you're like, oh, the phone is weird.
Yeah.
Like, this is a weird thing. Like, the society that I'm plugged into is weird to me. And so I need to go to a different type of society. It shows how unique you and I are to the way that we're plugged in. Because for me, I'm like, this society is weird. I need to go to the woods and see no people.
But I'm an extrovert. And you're an ambivert. I think you're more intro, but I think you're not full introvert.
No, not at all. I think it's impossible for someone to call me an introvert. Yeah. Consider what I do for a living, what I've done. Yeah,
but comparatively,
right? Sure. And so I think like that's my reset. But
yeah.
I mean, it all makes sense, and I love it, and it very eloquently put.
Yeah, and I also think a lot of people think it's just a drug fueled thing, which is it's kind of like bad PR. Like that is a side of it, but just like Fight Club fans, like the loudest ones are the ones that are wrong about what the movie represents. And I think there is a lot of drug culture, and I don't think drug culture is bad. Like, Tyler Durden is the antagonist. I do think drug culture is very important. I just think the people that use it for drug culture, the people that the people that go on Friday and Saturday and take Instagram photos are the ones you hear about, but aren't the ones that are actually there.
Right.
You need to go and realize that there are MIT professors and Harvard scholars that go and teach at Burning Man and try out their new syllabuses.
Right.
Like there's education and art, and you can literally go sober and have an art tour and experience a very unique thing completely removed from drugs. Or you can experience, a drug culture that's only existing there. Or you can find out things about yourself that you wouldn't find otherwise and bring it back with you back home.
It's like any any facet of a society is that there is a very loud, small percentage, and there is the varying other chapters or whatever you want to call it, or groups or organizations within it. There's always going to be something different from what we are
exposed to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've talked about it all the time. Like, Burning Man is definitely part of our cultural wars. It falls into that.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of like being that guy that's like, fucking burners.
Yeah. And like a lot of people are so flippant about it. And like, I think a lot of times it's sparkle ponies that people are upset at, not burners.
I'm not going to lie. I was more critical of Burning Man before Reno 911 did an episode in the 2000s where they all went to Burning Man.
Yeah. And you got to see what it actually is.
Well, no, I just thought to myself like, well, it's funny.
This helps. This is something I can understand. Thanks for the question. It means a lot that I get to talk about something I don't usually get to. And that Burning Man means a lot to me. So thanks.
My name is Melanie Forrest. This is a notification call from our Department of Tax Debt and Financial Settlement Services. There are new programs that can help you reduce or eliminate your debt completely. It is possible that your tax debt can now be considered temporarily non-collectible. You can call me back at my personal desk 1-833-123-189.
Well,
interesting hotline call. Weird of you to leave your
personal number, robot voice lady.
Also, I know that you say that we're in a simulation.
Yeah, I do think
we're getting tax spam calls to a Google Voice number that we share.
I am just confused how this physically or ever happened. Like, literally, how did this occur? Was a robot just pressing random numbers and it found a Google number? It's amazing.
I don't know, but I think Ultron might be real.
I feel like this is the exact opposite of billboards. Like when I said, like when you come out of Burning Man, you see a billboard. This is the audio version of finding a billboard and a hotline message. And I'd just like to thank this robocaller for joining the hotline.
What did you say her name was?
Was it Marlene?
I don't know. Whatever it was. Thanks for the call. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for the fans.
Please become a patron.
Best fans in the world.
Coy, this is Jake. What's going on? It is your resident Disney World cast member, Travis from Orlando. Is there a Disney IP that is not yet implemented into any of the parks, either Disneyland in Anaheim, here y'all, or in Disney World, that you would like to see either like an attraction or like some kind of ride based on? Like we have Tron coming out, we have Guardians coming out now, but IP that aren't used, like The Incredibles, for example, is not being used right now. Also, Sky High can be looked in there. Anyway, thanks, Dave Liddy. Peace.
Okay, I got one that is so obvious, and every time I go to Disney, I notice an absence of it. There isn't even merch of the greatest modern Disney movie.
Disney here.
Okay,
Disneyland.
Now, granted, I've only been to Disneyland twice, so when I say every time I go, I mean the 2 times.
Right.
But both times I noticed a void of my boy, Kuzco. And frankly, Kuzco. Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, okay. I just watched that movie and I had no idea who you were talking about.
His name is Emperor Kuzco.
The only one I remember is Gronk.
Gronk with a K.
Gronk. Oh, it's not the football player?
I was going to say Gronk is like Kronk, but ironically because he's a real person.
I thought his name was David. I thought it was David Spade was his name.
I thought his name was David Kronk. That said, there's a scene in the film where you pull a lever and you go on a roller coaster. And you have that already built in, and you could literally do that at the park and have an Emperor's New Groove ride. But you could also have a room where you could like turn into different animals. You could play around with like simulation stuff.
Right.
You could also serve spinach puffs. There are so many opportunities for the greatest modern Disney film to be adapted, and it's insulting it hasn't been.
So the first thing that comes to my mind is primarily just because of my childhood and my love for it. And there is representation. I haven't lived in Florida for well over a decade now. Mm-hmm. I used to pretty regularly go to Disney World and MGM Studios before it became whatever it's called now. I think it's called Hollywood Studios now. I can't remember. They had one little section of it that was kind of across from Bug's Life, maybe. I don't know. I might even be conflating this with Universal, but I know it's a Disney property. The fact that there isn't an entire park or section of a park dedicated to the Muppets is insane to me.
Yeah.
You have not just the Muppets themselves, the regular on the arm Kermits and stuff like that, but you have the walkable Muppets, like the Muppets that are full body Muppets, that they could be walking through the park. You have a litany of characters at your disposal that could do all sorts of different things, that can be a part of all sorts of rides. And I know there is one Muppets thing. I think, again, it's been so long since I was there. I think it was at MGM Studios.
Okay.
And I think it was across from like a Bug's Life land where there was like big, because I can see it in my brain.
Sure.
But I don't remember kind of where it was. And it was just like one little Muppets ride or one little show. I think it was a Muppet show. That was it. But I remember just thinking, like, you have so many characters that are so deeply rooted that you can utilize. And I will say, I don't know if it still exists. I can't imagine it does. I know that when I was little up in New York, we used to go to Sesame Place, which was a Sesame Street theme park. It was a whole entire theme park just for Sesame Street. And it was obviously for very little kids primarily. So I know that technically they did this because Sesame Street is Muppets. They are part of the Jim Henson Muppet Company. But I don't know. Muppets, give us
seems
Muppets.
right there.
I feel like that's the most obvious.
Right there.
I know that you have like a billion Marvel characters and you have all these other things and you have Star Wars and these things that are kind of obvious.
Right.
I think maybe the Muppets aren't adventurous.
I mean,
and therefore they don't.
If we're going obvious, how is there no Flight Simulator Iron Man? Like, how do you not put on the helmet? And you see the Jarvis thing, and then you get to fly around as Iron Man. If we're talking obvious, like that seems like that's what Avengers Campus should have started with. Like, it's right there.
Well, if you're gonna go that way, also Grey's Anatomy. Come on.
I mean, it's right there. 17 seasons.
Grey's Anatomy Park.
People bleeding out on you. You got some arteries spurting. You got a lot of drama.
You have the option to like hook up with sexy
Everyone's
people.
sleeping with somebody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drama on the ride. It gets very confusing.
Grey's Anatomy Land.
Everyone wants it.
Hey, I'm Aiden from Seattle. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Coy, I've been a fan of yours for a long time now with Collider Heroes and Marvel Movie News and all that stuff. And I love your guys' dynamic. I've been listening to the show for a while, and it really is like the bright part of my week. I look forward to it every Wednesday. So what you guys do really does make a difference. But anyway, my question is around movie scores. I'm a huge like score fanatic. I really do think a good score can elevate a movie a lot. And so I was kind of wondering what you guys think are some of the best or most underrated scores in the MCU, specifically. For me, I have to say the best is Endgame. I think Silvestri is just a true master of his craft, and those themes are just so incredible. I mean, obviously you have Portals and the Avengers theme, but even just the smaller moments, like Cap talking to the therapy group, the score is just so beautiful, and I think it really does make the movie a lot better. So that would be my favorite. And then in terms of what I think is the most underrated score, because I think a lot of people love the Endgame music, but for me, it would be The Incredible Hulk. Not one of the best MCU movies, but the score in it is truly excellent. The Betty and Bruce theme is beautiful. So those are a couple of my favorites. Obviously, you have Black Panther, and so many others that are excellent. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on your favorite and what you think might be the most underrated, or just some of your favorite themes. Thank you so much. Again, really love what you guys do. You mean the world to me. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, man. It's such a nice message.
Always love new callers, too. Thank you so much for calling, man.
I got one that is my clear favorite because it's the only one I listen to when I work out. It's the one that when I need inspiration, and I love the paranoid energy of it. I love the Winter Soldier score so much.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier's got such an energy, such a intensity, and it's so good for lifting.
Right. I think he mentioned Endgame. I don't think that's underrated at all. I think everybody knows it's Silvestri's absolute best. It's the best score in the entire MCU, hands down.
Yeah.
Obviously, Black Panther's up there as well. But I think if I'm going to go for sleeper, I think I'm going to go for pretty much everything in Iron Man 3.
Oh, interesting.
Everything in Iron Man 3, like that. And in fairness, I know people kind of dog on the movie as well.
They're wrong. It's
I
okay.
defend it. I defend it through and through. I think that it's, you know, the emotional core of that movie is powerful.
Upper third MCU.
I think it's Brian Tyler who does the music there. And I mean, that the main title for that, which is the Iron Man theme, Twisted, is really, really good. And I don't listen to a lot of MCU scores on their own. In fact, I remember quite a few years back, I think around the time the Avengers came out, there was a popular video that went around about how Marvel has a music problem. Do you remember that video that went around?
Yeah, and I think they listened to it.
Yeah.
Like Michael Giacchino and
I
stuff.
was going to say, I feel like up until Avengers, the first Avengers.
Yeah, they had a music problem.
Yeah, they had a major music problem.
But Giacchino with Doctor Strange, I think Giacchino with, especially with Spider-Man No Way Home, where he combined all the elements of No Way Home, of Homecoming and Far From Home, and then built to the new score. Like, I like that he played the long game like John Watts did. I think that's genius. But I think up until then, they were like,
but
trumpet.
But yeah, I think Iron Man 3, Brian Taylor is the
I think
most
that's a really solid pick.
Unsung of them all.
And then the soundtrack I listen to most is Black Panther, because it is like they actually incorporated real hip hop, not like pop hip hop. Like obviously Kendrick's popular, but it's not pop hop, and like it's a really special score and soundtrack.
Yeah.
And it also feels like the movie in a way that most scores don't feel. Like when it's removed from the movie, it still feels like Black Panther.
I love when something sounds like the movie looks.
Yeah, and like that's not always the case. Sometimes you need to imagine stuff. Yeah. And I think Winter Soldier and Black Panther allow to, like, you get the espionage Robert Redford of it, and you get the Black Panther of it all.
Right.
Great question.
Hey guys, Harold from Alabama. Question piggybacking on a idea from this past pod about Robert Eggers, Neil Gaiman. First, I want to add to that. It's what popped in my head and won't leave my head is them two pairing up for a Thor movie. Like classic Thor would be incredible. But okay, so I want to flip it. What would be pairing of stuff like that with a character? Like one idea that popped in my head immediately that would be like just so weird and wrong that it might be great is like a Charlie Kaufman Deadpool. What in the world would that be? What are your pitches for the worst? It might end up being great, but what would be your pitches for the worst combinations, pairings, whatever I'm sorry. I'll hang up.
So we had some sound distortion and dropout here.
It's kind of tough to hear him clearly.
Yes.
We appreciate the call, Harold. I think we can kind of get it from context,
because his example at the end is the worst combo that might work out.
Right.
Like bad duos instead of great duos.
Because we talked about some people that would make good comic book movies last week.
Also love a classic Thor Eggers. That's a great call.
That's really fun. So I think he's trying to say pairings that would be odd, bad, or maybe roll the dice. I'm going to say Sam Raimi and Doctor Strange.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
what if they'd ever throw $200 million at that?
No. Yeah, all right. So do you have one? Because I'm going to...
I have one, and it sounds like an insult, but it's really not, because it's two things that I enjoy separately that I don't think would work together, which I think is the question. Kevin Smith directing a Captain Marvel movie.
I said Kevin Smith and any superhero movie,
because like,
based on his own accounts of...
That's what I was thinking. Is like,
Superman
what's the biggest one?
hiding behind a rock. Yeah.
The biggest one is Captain Marvel. And also, like, Kevin's so dialogue based. Right. And Captain Marvel's so stoic. And Captain Marvel's so blunt. And Kevin is so, like, meandering in the best way. Like, I love Kevin's dialogue being, like, how I think and speak, because it's a journey. You go on a quest. And, like, Captain Marvel's like, blah. And so, as much as I love Captain Marvel and as much as I love Kevin, I don't think that would work.
Yeah, it's really going to fall into like the auteur directors.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just like, yeah, they can direct a movie. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like as far as like auteur directors who are non-problematic, it's a really small list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can have problematic.
Okay. I'm going to say Darren Aronofsky.
Ooh.
Making
Batman.
No, because he would
almost happened.
You guys would love that. Yeah. All you fucking Batman nerds. All your Batman nerds would be like, finally a dark Batman, because we've never had one. You fucking
what
weirdos.
If he's finally a detective?
Oh God, get over it.
Can he listen
we get it. He wears all black. He's cool. Okay, I'm gonna literally go
Jake doesn't like cool things.
Darren Aronofsky doing Superman.
Oh, that's great.
Like Darren Aronofsky, like doing like what should be the most
optimistic,
fun, irreverent, like, because Darren Aronofsky is probably the only one who's like more in his own head than Zack Snyder is.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that would be fucking odd and weird and, probably atrocious.
Okay, I got one in the same vein. I got Guy Gardner movie, Green Lantern, but like the obnoxious, snarky, very trivial. He's stubborn and he's a bit of a doofus.
Right.
Directed by David Fincher.
Okay.
So like it's dark for no reason.
Right.
It's not well written.
Right.
It's not like, it doesn't have any deeper message, because Guy Gardner can, but he wouldn't with David Fincher. And it's just him like digging himself a hole of like gritty space drama. It's Alien 3.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But with Guy Gardner.
Okay, what's another really heady? Now I went Superman. What's a really heady, really deep, have to be very careful with it comic property?
Miracle Man. Because it can be dumb in a hurry, but it's really smart.
So Seth MacFarlane directed Miracle Man.
Oh, God. My boy, my precious baby boy.
And I like Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, but you're killing my boy. I like that because it's at the cost of.
Exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
All right.
Judd Apatow's Animal Man.
I actually feel like, no, maybe not. Okay.
I feel like you would just make a bunch of like animal jokes and then you would undermine the existential, like humanitarianness of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at the bubble.
All right. I think we beat that to death. I will say a couple weeks back when we were talking about our opinions on Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I was like, we should try to think about what other properties Sam Raimi should have done or could do.
Yeah. Anything Midnight Suns.
But here's the thing: I was gonna say we glazed over it. We didn't even mention it because I brought up Morbius.
Yeah. Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah,
was that what you were gonna say?
Yes. I mean, literally. I know that he was in S.H.I.E.L.D. and they've said that maybe that's not canon. I don't know. Fucking whatever. But anyways, and I didn't get a chance to see it even though I wanted to. It's on the list. But like that's I defend stuff like Spirit of Vengeance. Like I actually feel like
those transformations with Sam Raimi, perfect. All the occult stuff.
For Christ's sakes, you literally have the guy who made Evil Dead do the guy who's a skeleton on fire.
Yeah, you don't have to have it feel campy because it can be campy.
It could have been if they just had him like, we're going to introduce Ghost Rider in the MCU and he's going to be willing to doing it. Come on,
it's right there.
He would be.
Love that.
I would love them to be like, all right, now that you're in the team, you can play with us.
Yeah.
Take Ghost Rider.
Oh, that's fun.
Get him away from the characters that we have emotional depth that we enjoy so far. Give him Ghost Rider.
You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see Sofia Coppola do like a Jubilee movie.
Oh, I don't know.
Because we're
do you know how many long slow-mo shots there'll be of just fireworks for no reason?
You know what? She's gonna be at the mall. She's gonna be happy.
Oh,
but I was thinking like Sofia Coppola's 50-50 for us. I'd like to get that in the win column.
But the problem is that Jubilee would be such an aesthetic thing, and that's what I hate about her. I like it when she is directing people talking. When she is so hyper fixated on making a music video. Where it's all aesthetic, and Jubilee with especially if we go like yellow leather jacket, it's gonna be a 20-minute movie crammed into an hour and a half.
Okay, you're not Duffer Brothers Jubilee.
There it is.
Hello, Coy and Jake. This is Zach calling from Connecticut, and I just finished watching all of the X-Men films for mostly the first time, and it got me thinking about what the MCU will do when they introduce the X-Men. When Marvel took over Spider-Man, I believe it was reported that they took efforts to not retread on things we had seen in the past movies. So it stands to reason they'll do similar with the X-Men. So my question to you, X-Men aficionados, is what X-Men characters would you like to see featured in an MCU movie or show that we have not seen featured in a past movie already? We'll say that characters that have only made cameos can count. I love what you're doing. Keep it up. Thanks.
Gambit.
I mean, he had a whole thing in a movie. He was a whole character.
Yeah, but like, we don't talk about that movie.
But it wasn't, but he said cameos count.
True. That's true.
But this is the problem, is that really they have gone to the well. Like there are not a lot of characters.
I've
said it for years. Forge is my Forge is my guy. I want to play him. Forge is my dude. I don't know why. I loved him as a kid. He was such a weird, unique character as far as like what's a superpower that hasn't been done a billion times.
Build.
The idea that like literally he has the ability to create a need.
Yeah.
It's not too dissimilar to what we saw in Eternals.
Yeah.
With I don't remember their names because there's too many characters to remember the names of, but the guy who was the
inventor, Brian Tyree Henry's character.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Forge to me is my immediately go-to.
Yeah.
Also just because I don't know who else we haven't seen.
That's fair. I mean, we haven't seen Chamber, who I love. Remember Chamber from Generation X?
They don't.
He's got the flaming, he has to wear a mask because he's like his jaw is just a flaming hole. and he's like this really goth Generation X kid. He's got
I don't know
psionic
why
powers.
this literally sound. I don't think I've ever heard of this.
No, okay, look.
I'm
gonna
look it up
because he's incredible. So he's
Let's see.
he's a psionic mutant, and he speaks in your head because his jaw blew off when his powers activated. He's got a flaming jaw for a face, and so he wears like a.
Oh, okay. I have
chamber.
seen this art. I've seen this art. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever read anything.
Oh, I'm
with
such
him.
a big fan of him. He's so interesting. He's kind of like the Wolverine for Generation X. Like,
Right.
he's edgy. He's interesting. I always wanted Robert Pattinson to play him because he
That's
kind of
a-
looks like a Pattinson.
That's kind of a unique visual.
Yeah.
For them to pull off.
Yeah. So I mean, that's new. That's
All right,
different.
I literally have to do this. I have to look up the list of X-Men characters to see who we haven't seen. All right. And my first list I pulled up, we're just going to go through it and we're just going to check off.
I mean,
Let's
there's
see.
hundreds of X-Men.
All right. But at least this is the one listed on the quick
Okay.
Google search I did. All right.
Okay.
Maybe we put the bar kind of low for this. Professor X.
Seen him.
Eric
twice.
Leshner. Jean Grey. Cyclops. Storm. Beast. Wolverine. Rogue. I'm going to go ahead and call that A-Team.
Okay.
Right? And then it goes on from there. Kitty Pryde, Raven, Emma Frost, Iceman, Colossus, Havoc, Gambit, Betsy Braddock. Is that Psylocke? That's
Psylocke.
Psylocke. Oh yeah, we never got. What is she? Captain Britain? No, what's the other Psylocke? What's the Psylocke? That's her actually. That story's so fucking
It's
weird.
so weird.
But the British woman.
Yeah, we haven't
who,
gotten her.
Is she literally Captain Britain? No.
Yes, but I don't remember her real name right now. Yes.
Okay.
We haven't gotten her yet.
Well, I think her real name is Betsy Braddock.
Right.
That's her real name.
Because the real name of
Because
Psylocke
the-
isn't.
Because
is
it's
another
super racist.
Right.
She like took over some Asian person, and the Asian person is not Betsy. Yeah, it's fucking awful. Nightcrawler, Warren Worthington III,
Yep.
Angel, Apocalypse, Pietro Maximoff, Juggernaut, Sabretooth, Deadpool, Caliban. Who's Caliban? Is that the white? Is
Yeah,
that the dude
he was
from?
in-
He was in.
yep, in Logan.
X-23. I mean, we've had so many characters.
It's insane.
Has there
Now that you're
anybody I've
listing
listed
them-
and we
Nope,
haven't had?
So far, so good.
Now we're gonna get into the spot where I think again we also had New Mutants that
We
came
haven't
out.
had Sunspot yet.
That's the next one. We have Sunspot.
Oh, and New Mutants, you're right.
He was in New Mutants. I didn't see it, but he's there. Dazzler, Blink.
We haven't had Dazzler. We've had Cameo Dazzler. I want a Dazzler.
Okay, Dazzler is a good one. Toad, Moira, obviously. Banshee, Angel Salvadore.
We haven't had
Is,
Siren, Banshee's daughter.
who's Angel? Is that
He's Skin.
What's his
He's
other
from
name?
Generation X.
okay? It looks like a she Angel, unless they did a gender swap on this. It looks like Angel Salvador is a female.
Oh.
You just said he is.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking
Maybe-
of Skin.
Maybe
I'm-
they did a
Or
you
I'm
know.
just wrong. I could be wrong.
Bishop we got. Polaris is probably another big one.
Yeah, Polaris we haven't seen. We had her on the show though. That X-Men show.
What X-Men show? The
Only went 2 seasons. It was on Fox.
What was it called?
The Gifted.
The Gifted. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gifted. Yep. Jeez Louise. There are so many characters.
I mean, it's its own MCU.
Jamie Madrox. Longshot.
We haven't really had Jamie Madrox, really.
I
mean,
know.
He had like a cameo in one of them.
I really like Longshot.
Longshot's a good
one
one.
of my favorites on the short list. Thunderbird.
On the short list.
On the short list for sure. God knows we need them. All right, now we're getting down to the bottom. Obviously, Magic, Cable, Wolfsbane, North Star. So there's definitely some names here, but they like, we get into X-Force territory, but they're all considered, I don't know. I just don't think I came up with anybody better than Forge, who, by the way, I didn't even see on this list.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's so many X-Men they don't even have Forge on there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean there's definitely X-Men we haven't seen, but I do think you need to start over. And I do think starting over means I would do a combination of the Claremont run and the original 5. Like I would include Storm and I would not have Wolverine in the beginning. I've said before I'd have him on a show that was separate if you want to bring in Wolverine soon. If not, wait until Wolverine like 3 or 4 movies in.
I mean, if they are continuing the animated series,
yeah.
If we're bringing that back,
yeah.
Let's just let that be the X-Men.
Yeah.
Make it good and don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, like they will do movies though.
I know, and it's just
there's gonna be live action movies.
It's a lot. I'm worried after Doctor Strange 2.
One stumble isn't a fall. It's a stumble.
I know. That's why I said I'm worried.
Okay, because I think X-Men are going to be great. I think they're going to be just fine. I think we're in good hands. I think Thor: Dark World's going to appease you. You're going to be happy again. It's a month and a half away. Give it time, and it's bright and colorful, perfect for X-Men costumes. All right. Hopefully that answered your question. I know your question was kind of like, who haven't we seen? But we just listed like.
I mean,
we've
it's
seen
so hard.
many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Forge.
Chamber's my big one.
Forge and Chamber.
Forge and Chamber. Those.
We're
deep
both,
cuts.
I think, like not even hero, anti-hero. Like
yeah,
both
they're
of
just
them are
kind of
tweeners.
like
They're tweeners.
Yeah, they're tweeners. They're apathetic too.
Yep. Sometimes they're like, yeah, we like Magnetos. What do you
We'll
have to
show
say?
up.
Yeah. Great. We
And
nailed
a
it.
real Cyclops. That's who I want to see.
Oh, a real Cyclops. Like an actual person with one eye.
Just one. Yeah. Sorry, James Marsden. We want to see a real Cyclops.
Hello, Coy producer Jake. This is Jared from Louisiana. It has been a while,
Since I called in with someone along this lines of a question, you might refer to it as a game, if you will, but the prompt is rather simple. It takes place in a death race type of scenario, if you will. 12 characters, 6 vehicles, but instead of weaponry, they would use their powers. So this scenario involves a race, still a race. You can split up into teams, but as long as it's 12 characters, 6 vehicles, also choose the vehicles. Stay sweaty. Thanks for listening. I'm a listener, so I'll be thinking myself. Have a nice day.
Jared from Louisiana. This is such an insane game, insane prompt. We're gonna have to go a little long here because we're already at a 55-minute mark, and this is a big question.
It really is.
I love this question for a few reasons. One, I love Cannonball Run, and I know he said Death Race,
but you
which is the same thing. I also like Death Race.
Okay,
but this is literally Superhero Cannonball Run.
Yep,
and its powers, like we've talked about in the past. He gave us parameters. I'm all for this. Also, how has this not happened? How is this not a cartoon?
The ultimate 90s Saturday morning cartoon.
Seriously.
Like, it really is that.
You can even sell the Hot Wheel cards of whatever they make. All right.
Branded for days.
I have written down car 1 through car 6.
Okay.
I think, do we do half...
3-3?
I was going to say, do we do half good guys, half bad guys, half DC, half Marvel? How do you want to do this? Because the breakdown doesn't make it even. We could do we could do no bad. We could just do...
I think no
free for all.
Free for all. Yeah.
Alrighty.
That's what I think.
So car 1, like literally the most obvious thing is like people who can drive cars.
Yes. That seems important.
Because it is ultimately a race.
It is a race.
It's about getting
6 cars.
It's about getting from LA to New York.
Are we doing 3 each?
Right. We're starting it in Santa Monica. We're ending it on Montauk, Long Island.
Yes. Okay. Sold. We're going through Boston.
There's 2. Well, he said 12 characters. There's 2 person in each car.
Okay. 12 characters, 6 cars. Are we doing 3 each?
We can work on it together. Let's just make it work.
Okay.
Because I don't think we're facing each other.
We're just racing.
I don't know. Should we face each other?
I feel like that's what the people want.
You're right. Let's face each other. We each get to do 3 cars.
And then Discord says who wins.
Yeah.
You're right. Just like the Pirates.
Yep,
Come on.
We're doing this.
Okay. So we're against each other.
This should have been a whole episode.
3 cars each.
All right. So
if people like this, we can do another episode.
We got to do it draft style.
Yeah.
So the way it'll work is you'll draft first in your first car.
Yep.
I'll draft my guy, and then when we get to the bottom, I'll draft a full car.
Okay.
And then come back up. Does that make sense to you? That way we're both going first.
As we go, it'll make sense.
Okay, great. So you're drafting first. Who's in your first car?
Okay. And we'll do driver, passenger.
One. No, yeah, but
but I'm just
doing
one. But when we describe it, we'll say driver, passenger for each car. That way
okay, I like this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, first driver. I'm going with... You know what? It seems like it's counterintuitive.
Okay.
Because it is a good driver.
Okay.
But it's not someone that technically drives in the traditional sense. I'm going with a telekinetic telepath because I think the best drivers are someone that can see around any turn and can prepare for any variable.
Okay.
I'm going Jean Grey.
Alrighty. So your first driver in your car 1 is Jean Grey.
Yes.
Should we say what kind of car they're driving at the very end?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you're going car 1, Jean Grey behind the wheel.
Yes.
I'm going.
Actually, you know what? I like my car too much, and I can't contain it. She's driving a Pontiac Firebird.
All right,
obviously.
Jean Grey is driving a Firebird. We'll find out who's joining her later.
It's too good. I couldn't.
Okay, car 2 is driven by Domino.
Ooh, great call.
Okay.
Nicely done.
Jake's first car, which is car 2, driven by Domino. And Domino is driving... I'm going to put her in a modified... I want to go like... what's the name of that freaking car? It's a Jeep that is like a pseudo pickup truck. I'm going to go Commando.
Okay.
Jeep Commando.
Okay.
She's in a modified Jeep Commando. It's modified for speed because not necessarily a fast car.
That's fair.
But you were going someplace.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So Domino is in the front seat driving a Jeep.
Okay, I like this.
Okay, and what's your second car? First draft.
So driver of the second car.
Which is car 3 because we made this confusing.
Yes, car 3, driver 1. I'm going to go with... Oh, I got this.
This is so stupid. I love it.
It's so stupid.
Thank you so much, Jared.
This is fantastic. This gentleman is able to turn anything he touches into a weapon. So this car instantly becomes a force of destruction. He's the Cajun himself, Mr. Gambit.
Great. Gambit is your driver. What is he driving?
He is driving a heavily modified 1967 Camaro.
He's driving a Camaro, a 70s Camaro. Is that what you said?
67.
A 67 Camaro?
A lot of metal, a lot of things to use as destruction.
Okay.
Not a lot of electronics because you want it to be streamlined.
All right, I'm there. All right, I'm gonna match that with my car 4,
okay,
which is gonna be driven by none other than Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider.
One of us had to.
Yep, Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider is driving a jet black 1970 Ford Mustang Mach 1.
Ooh, very simple. Okay, I like our muscle car approach.
And,
We're at that
the
point.
second that he touches it, of course,
it is a Ghost Rider.
Becomes a fiery murder ball with
force of whatever.
Yeah. So he's driving a Mach 1.
Okay.
Mustang.
Okay.
One of my favorites. Love it. Okay. I want to watch Cannonball Run now so bad.
This is very inspiring.
All right, car 5.
Okay, next
your
up,
next driver.
We've got a gentleman who is
your last driver.
My
by
last
the way.
driver. He's not just the world's greatest detective. He's also the man behind the wheel,
Sherlock Holmes
of the Batmobile. It's
so
Batman
he's driving the Batmobile.
Yeah, you goddamn right he
well,
is.
There's only one seat in that, so that's gonna be fun.
You know what? I already got a solution to that.
So Batman.
Yep.
/ Mobile.
Yep.
I'm not going with fictional cars. I'm going with things that exist. Well, unless you want to tell me which Batmobile it is.
The one from The Batman.
So the new Batmobile, which is also just, isn't that a Pontiac?
You know
what was it, GTO?
That's too similar to the Firebird. I'm going to go with Tim Burton's
You want to go with
Rocket.
Oh God! Let me please. I'm begging you. I'm going against you. I still want you to pick the Returns one because that's that's my favorite one.
Tim Burton. Yeah. Sorry. What did I think of when I think of Tim
Burton?
Burton?
Mobile Burton. In parentheses. Great. Oh, this is so stupid. All right.
All these cars are black.
So I'm trying to think of another. Not mine. All right. So I've got the Jeep. I'm trying to cover all the bases.
Got you.
I've got the Jeep, which is like the off-roader.
Yep.
Right. I've got the Mach 1 Mustang, which is like the 70s muscle car.
Right.
The only one I'm missing now is like the actual sports car.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to go with like a Countach.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
And the person driving this, I don't know how to spell that.
C-O. Oh wait, no, I immediately don't either.
I don't know.
Let's make it up.
Let's just write Lamborghini.
Also, you could have gotten away. No one would ever know you wrote it wrong. Like, I don't know why you had to announce
Lamborghini.
Because you made us both look bad. Which Lamborghini? Gallardo.
The Countach.
Oh, the Countach. That's right. But you just spelled Lamborghini. Okay.
People are like, what?
What is happening?
I promise it's a car.
It is.
Okay.
It's a nice one.
And the driver of my Countach, I have to give this a little thought because I've got, oh no, my phone fell. All right, I've got Domino.
I mean, it's practically the Batmobile.
I've got a Domino and a Jeep. I've got Ghost Rider. And no, it's way faster than Batmobile. Batmobile wishes it was a Lamborghini Countach. All right. Also, the Batmobile, you can only fit one person. All right. I am going to go Lex Luthor.
Ooh, okay.
I know that the powers may be limited.
Yep.
But he is using the technology.
I got you.
To like soup this up, and I already want to change it. Can I change it?
You can't.
Damn it!
You said it.
I know, but I'm talking through it. Okay, you know what? Fine. Because I get to draft my second and go first on the way up.
Yes.
It's Lex Luthor, and in the passenger seat, also using the combined technology is Tony Stark. Because I realized I wanted Tony Stark, and I was like, I can just do both.
Yeah, they're both in the car. Great.
So it's Lex Luthor and Tony Stark in a Lamborghini Countach,
of billionaires.
a souped up Stark Technologies / LexCorp branded.
All right, audience that's voting, I want you to acknowledge the billionaire empowerment that Mr. Jake Lloyd Bacon is encouraging here.
Listen.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to win a race.
I'm just saying.
All right?
Mr. 1% over here. All right, so.
Hardcore socialist. Lex Luthor and Tony Stark for the win.
Okay, so in with Batman in the Batmobile, and the reason it doesn't matter that there's only one seat is because with him in canon, friendship and powers is going to be goddamn Spider-Man. Spider-Man is hanging on. He's got his Spider-Man web slinging as far as like using them offensively and defensively abilities because he's hanging out on the roof and or hood of that car, and the Batmobile's got plenty of room for Peter Parker.
Great.
And canon Batman and Spider-Man know each other.
Awesome. All right. And so I've got Ghost Rider.
Yep.
Driving this Mach 1 Mustang.
Of course.
And what better co-pilot / armorer than a guy who can simply just remove this competition. Magneto is in the
he's
car,
right there.
and Magneto is literally just going to be picking up your cars and be like, nope, you're over there, you're over there, you're over there. Oh, you're in front of us, whoop, and now you're behind us. He's just moving people around. And Ghost Rider is just like, this is crazy.
Until Jean Grey unlocks his mind and then does all that same stuff.
He's wearing his helmet.
Oh, yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. See how that goes.
Not only is he wearing his helmet, but like Ghost Rider is like protecting him with chains to help keep it on. Like Ghost Rider's chains.
You think Spider-Man can't web his helmet off?
Magneto's inside the car.
You can't even go through a window.
No, web fluid can't even get through. Listen, Spider-Man is only as good as a screen door. Okay, he can't even get through.
He is very nimble.
All right, so that's my second car, Magneto and Ghost Rider in a Mach 1.
Okay, my second car is Gambit.
Yes, your second full car.
Yeah, going back. Yeah, Gambit. And with Gambit is his fellow X-Man, an Omega level mutant that doesn't get enough respect, someone that can control the very power of nature itself, Storm.
You always go Storm in all of these things.
It's because I love Storm.
Cool.
What good are roads if
Storm
you can't
and
drive
Gambit
on them?
in a 67 Camaro.
Also, that's just a great movie.
It does look. It looks. That's a good visual.
Pretty badass.
That's a pretty good visual.
Pretty happy about it.
Okay. Domino in this Jeep. I'm not gonna lie. When I first picked Domino, I assumed Magneto was gonna be in this, but then I thought, let me get him in there early.
Okay.
On the way back up because I was worried you were gonna.
I thought about it,
and I do think Ghost Rider and Magneto will be very entertaining together.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Domino in the background or in the car driving the Jeep.
Yep.
There maybe he's gonna have a hard time in this Jeep, in the city streets, but across the majority of America, doesn't even need to be on the roads. They're flying over sand dunes. So I'm trying to think of the best case scenario. Do I go with a storm style weather person?
Mm-hmm.
Do I double down on the luck?
Ooh, that's fun.
Because I think maybe Domino's just hanging out with Havoc.
Oh, that's
fun.
I'm
sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I got totally confused there. Not Havoc. The other one. The
Cyclops?
No, fucking. We just talked about it when we listed the Marvel stuff. Starts with an M. Luck. He's very luck based.
Oh, Longshot.
Thank you.
That is nothing. There's no M in there.
Hanging out with a long shot.
0 M's in Longshot.
Yep, I know.
Okay.
Thanks. Maybe I'll edit that out. Maybe I won't. Long shot. Domino and long shot.
All right. A lot of luck in that car.
Yeah, because then it's just a matter of we just got to get there.
Statistics.
Yeah, it's statistics.
Okay. I got one last passenger driving with Jean Grey, and that's my front car. That's my OP car. That's my mega power, take care of anything needs to be handled car. Not only is it the Phoenix and a Firebird, but just in case Magneto gets any crazy ideas about splitting up the metal, I got someone riding shotgun that can create whatever vehicle they need from mere ideas. I got Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern. Couple of space bros hanging out in that car doing space hijinks with their mega powerful choices.
All right. I have a hard time arguing against most of your decisions.
Okay.
I think Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern is going to annoy the shit out of Jean Grey.
That's going to make her more powerful.
No, she's going to be like, get out. Halfway through the country, she's going to be like, get the fuck. She's going to pull over.
And he has become more of an artist that can contain himself. He's very wise.
So this is the final lineup for the Superhero Cannonball Run.
So good.
I'll list Coy's 3 cars first. In Coy's car, the Team Coy is based of 3 cars. Jean Grey and Green Lantern in a Firebird. Gambit and Storm in a 67 Camaro.
So hot.
And Batman and Spider-Man in the Batmobile from Tim Burton's Batman.
Sexy.
Trying to drive from Los Angeles, Santa Monica to New York City in a Batmobile. Have fun in the mountains and then in the deserts.
And on just fine.
No, you're right. There's roads.
Snow tires.
There's roads everywhere. On Team Jake, the 3 cars are Domino and Longshot in a Jeep, in a modified Jeep. I forgot what I already said. I forgot what it's called. Commander? No,
Deep Cut Mobile.
Jeep Commander. Ghost Rider and Magneto in a 70 Mach 1 Mustang.
Talk about people not getting along.
Oh, that'll be a blast. And Lex Luthor and Tony Stark in a modified Lamborghini Countach.
1%er Jake Lloyd Bacon.
Who do you think is going to win the Jared Invitational
Yep, I like this. I like it a lot. I like how
first ever
you're way more like the cars are all very diverse, but also the pairings.
Well, mine are more diverse than yours. You just went with muscle cars and.
No, I mean like the
you
duos.
have a Firebird, a Camry, and a Batmobile.
Camry?
A Camry. I wrote down Camaro, and I looked and read it quickly.
A 95 beige Camry.
I should have put Domino in like a 1988 Ford Tempo.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Because it wouldn't have mattered.
It doesn't matter. I almost put Juggernaut in with Jean Grey, but I went with Kyle Rayner at the end instead. Because I feel like he doesn't fit.
Okay, hang on a second.
Fit in a car.
Hang on a second.
Well, now that we're done.
Juggernaut is the unstoppable force.
Right.
Does he need to be the one propelling himself?
I think he needs to have his feet on the ground.
If he's in a car and the car is driving and you break or if you hit the brakes of the car, does he just destroy it and blow through the front end of it?
And I've never seen him in a car, so I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to risk that kind of variable, and I felt like that might be a variable.
Oh, and by the way,
also does he fit in a car?
You might have broken the rules with Spider-Man because I realized a part of the rules might be like they have to be in the car because it's not like we have. We didn't go with Superman being like, and he just flew and he left the car.
Well, yeah, but like he's attached to the car. He's just using the webbing.
Okay, but that's just a minute. The car has to cross the finish line.
Yeah. And I'm not saying Spider-Man swinging. I'm saying Spider-Man because it's a one-seater.
Of course he's not swinging because he's useless in a desert.
You know what? He's going to do just great. He's going to do just
Spider-Man
fine.
is useless if there aren't trees or street lamps.
And that's why he's got the Batmobile.
He's just jogging, jogging through
he's
fucking through Arizona.
That great scene in Homecoming.
God, this sucks.
God damn, I hate this race.
Oh my goodness, that's weird and fun.
Real weird. Good time. Okay, Discord, call in, give us your opinion, and let us know what you think. Who won this?
Yeah,
the Jared Invitational.
Yeah,
818-794-0722.
Either call in or head on over to the Discord or tweet at us. We'll, in a week from now, your time.
Yeah.
In theory, we are supposed to be recording.
Yeah, if all goes well.
If all goes well. So you have a few days. We'll try to, if we even get the votes.
Yeah.
People are like, guys, I don't care.
Don't care.
Whoever you want to win could be the winner. But anyways, we'll try to tally them up.
Yep. We'll see who won this. Use hashtag Koicast, call 818-794-0722, or get in that free Discord over at Koicast.
So absurd.
It is just ridiculous. All right. This has been another.
I can picture like the little Hot Wheels with the big heads.
100%.
Remember the little toys had like big heads?
Yeah. I can also picture like the authentic Hot Wheels with like little color changes, like the red tires on the Pontiac Firebird. I could totally see all those choices. Come on, 90s Saturday morning cartoons 30 years ago, retroactively make this happen. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Let us know that koicast.com is something that warms your heart as it warms ours to make for you. Those 5-star reviews keep us literally fed. That's not true. They don't pay us anything, but we appreciate you. The koicast.com, however, does feed us. If you join the Patreon, that is how we eat for spending our hours here hanging out with you guys, and each and every one of you patrons mean the world, as do each and every one of you listeners. You guys just being here and calling in, it's great to know this isn't just yelling out into the void. The Patreon.
And if you want a shot, next episode we'll be drawing the second ever, the June Unpunchable Gift Horse of the Month. So get in while the getting's good if you want to be in that drawing.
Gilbert's about to be punchable, or will he? Because he might win it again. We'll see. We'll see how punchable that man is.
We'll see if a Domino and Longshot are in his favor.
That's true. Or if he gets phoenixed with Green Lantern. It's going to be exciting. So yeah, check out merch over there, koicast.com as well. And you can follow us on social media at KoiJohnro and at Jake Lloyd Bacon. Use hashtag Koicast, especially to cast your votes. And once again, 818-794-0722 is how to get our attention with your hot and hotline heavy calls, leaving great games and questions like this episode today. Or you can send voice memos to contact@koicast.com. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you, as always, to Comic Books and Cannonball Run for existing.
Hey everyone, Jake Lloyd Bacon here.
Along with Paul Bianchi.
And Alexandra Hoy.
Hey, we all host different shows on Dragon Wagon Radio.
We do, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Not at all. We are here to talk about Dungeons and Dragon Wagon,
a narrative podcast series in which we venture into a mythical land for a D&D inspired role-playing game.
Alexandra and I are joined by Matt Hinksman and a very special guest of quest for each chapter of an epic saga in which we must take on the roles of half-orcs, dark elves, and more as we fight our way through a fantastical land of peril, drama, and often hilarity.
All of which is controlled by me, the Dungeon Master, and the players' chance rolls of the die.
And our show is for everyone. Even if you know nothing about D&D or role-playing games, we've got you covered.
That's right. Our game sessions are highly edited, easy to follow, sound designed from top to bottom, and completely immersive.
Yeah, our episodes sound more like a well-produced radio drama than an RPG show.
So what are you waiting for? Join the adventure on Dungeons and Dragon Wagon at dndwpod.com or wherever you find great podcasts.
Dragon Wagon.